So here's a little video on the Firestone Air Springs Kit. I'm about 2/3 of the way through this, but I've got some helping ideas for other guys. Gonna need a long shaft, deep socket, 14 millimeter, and probably a flexible ratchet like this is gonna help you out quite a bit. You may need some extensions. One of the first things you got to do is cut off these jounts, bumpers. They're not rubber; they're rubber on the outside and steel on the inside. So you got to have a sawzall with a bimetal blade to get through them good. You may have to cut them twice. The first one I did really good on, perfect. The second one, I don't know, I wasn't lined up that well. I had to cut it twice. So the first cut was too high, and the second cut, it doesn't have to be exactly perfect. There is a space, so you can just place it over. Well, let's take a little trip down below here. If you don't have a creeper with a tilt up on the head, it's worth getting one. You can get them on Amazon, 50, 60 bucks. It's worth it. Let's go into here and see what type of trouble we can get into. You can just jack up the Frontier. I'm doing it for a Frontier, 2012 Frontier, right from the frame. I've got it jacked up on both sides, and of course I have the safety backup in front of it. You don't have to go way up. In fact, you're better off not. Let's get under here, and hopefully I can show you some stuff. Alright, so let's look over here. Here's one of these buggers. You can see he's in place. This is the easy one. This is the passenger side. It's a million times easier than the driver's side. Now in the video on the 2014 Frontier, it looks different than mine. Like I said, mine's a 2012 SV. And see if I can show you anything over here. We have this canister, this is for the fuel vapor canister, charcoal canister bullshit. And it's got a valve too. See that valve? So it's kind of like in the way or really close to where you want the spring to go. And I was worried it wouldn't fit, but luckily there is room to get it in there. It's really tight. See if I can get in there to show you. Sorry for the camera twisting around here. Alright, so there is room to get it in there. You can see it fits in that little spot. Right, you can get it through there. So if you're watching the 2014 e-trailer video and you're like, oh my god, the mine's different, you crawled under, there is a way to get it through. I have a rubber piece of tubing that you can buy from e-trailer. They tell you what it is in their video. Get that. You will need it. You're going to put that on the inside, on the serrated, on the threaded side of the bale that's holding the bracket up. Okay. There it is. Okay, so up in there, inside of there, I got the brake lines on the outside, then there's the bale, and then there's a piece of tubing over the bale so that the threads on the bale do not contact the brake line and kind of saw through it, right? All right, so basically how I did it was I first got these assembled, and then I put them in place. Put the upper in place first, with the bales just screwed to the nylon lock nut area of the nuts. And then I went down and I did the lower ones. And I actually had to cut them, of course. They're way too long, so you have to cut them off. Take off 70 millimeters off the thread, off the bolt, and that'll be fine. You can do that for all of them. And then these are pretty easy to put on. Everything needs to be slowly tighten down as you get everything situated. That nut, you're going to make sure you can tighten that. That's hard to get to. You need an offset 14 millimeter wrench to do that. Kind of a flying offset wrench to get in there. You won't get in there with a socket. You need extensions to get up to these guys. We're just screwing those down. Once you get it all together, it'll look pretty good. Sits there. Hopefully you're looking at something here. Yeah, there we go. Okay, let me come on the other side of the axle. You'll get a better view. I did not drop my tire. I don't think you have to do that. My vehicle is jacked up, but not a lot. You don't want it too much, because if you get it too much, it's better to compress these a little and then slip it into the frame where they go, and they'll kind of auto line up. You'll have a lot easier time getting the bales on. If not, it's a problem. So you want to have it so it's sitting on where the jounce was, and you want the plate correct as it shows in their video. You can also see it maybe in my video here with the flange on the inside. See that flange on the bottom? You want it on the inside, right? Where the heck is that? Hopefully you can see that. See that flange there? You see it. I'm talking about the bottom plate. Okay. And so once you get it all into position, you're going to slowly cinch it up. Take your time doing this, and make sure you use that rubber tubing to go around any brake lines or emergency brake lines. You can put that, so you have it underneath here just as a precaution. That was a really good idea from E-Trailer, right? And so I have both sides done here. Thing is that I have a pair of these on my van, and the guy who put them on there charged me about $300 and did an absolutely shitty job. Everything was loose, and I had to redo the job. So this time I was like, I don't trust anyone doing it. I'm going to do it myself. So, guys, just take your time. I spent about 6 hours doing this because I had nobody to help me. I had to keep getting on and off of the gurney, the creeper, and slowly moving along here. So I have them both in. They're both cinched down nicely. Tomorrow I'm going to hook up the airlines. And I'm probably going to do what I did on my van, which is drill a couple of holes back here, right here. There's that goofy thing they give you with it where you can put it on the hitch. But, having it on each side here, it works really good on my van, because I can look at it. I can look at the bumper and see what it needs on each side. And a lot easier to get to. And they're also straight down. They won't pick up as much dirt. I had good luck with them on my van. Yeah, right there. That's the spot where you want them. And you'll be able to connect the hose in pretty easy. But this is, I'm not a professional mechanic, but I would say I have pretty good mechanical ability. And I would say that this is, it's definitely not a job for someone who has no mechanical ability. If you change your own oil, you can probably do this. If you don't make a mess every time you change your oil, you can probably do this. If you take your time doing it, I know you will get a better result than going to a shop that does these, because it takes a lot of time to do it right and make sure you're not creating a situation where this thing could, cut your brake line or something like that. So I think that these are really great. I love them. I have, like I said, I have them in my van, and it's just night and day when you're towing anything, because you can just completely adjust the load. So I'm happy to get these on my Frontier, even though my Frontier is a 2012. I don't have all that many miles on it. As you can see, the left side is just so easy to do. It's as soon as you get done with the driver's side. I'm sorry, not the left, the right side. As soon as you get done with the driver's side, you'll be like flying through this side, because it's so much better. But go ahead, take your time, and on the bottom do the same thing. You can see I have the little hoses on here to protect that line going across the bottom, and you'll get a nice result. And so there's your fitting up there. There's some good tips in the E-Trailer video, so make sure you watch that guy. You can even download it. with a utility called YouTube DLP. If you don't have it, you can get that. Download YouTube videos. Have it so you can really study it. So this is the Firestone kit for 2012 Nissan Frontier. And thanks for watching. And I hope you guys have a successful installation. And I know the other pair of these I have are good 10 years old, and I think I paid like $400 or $500 for them then. So it's a really good price at E-Trailer to get them for, I don't know, I think I paid $420, $430 for them. And I really like E-Trailer. It's a really good outfit. So thank you, E-Trailer, for quality product. And I'll let you know how it finally turns out in the end. Hopefully I don't have any air leaks. So, all right, guys, good luck. Bye. Okay, so here's the second part of this video on the install of the airlift springs. You notice I have the valves here, not underneath on the hitch, because that's a pain. So you take your time, you go through the bumper, and you put it right here. That way you can do it each side, and you can look at your bumper to know when you're straight. And you don't need a big pump. You can just use like a bicycle pump to do this, okay? And let's take a look how I ran the air lines going beneath here. Crawl down here. Alright, so you can see it over there. It looks beautiful. In the video, the guy actually ran it inside the frame. Huh? He's some magician, and he managed to get that thing in the frame. I tried to get it in the frame, but no way, so I went on top. And you just want to make sure you protect it against abrasion and vibration, that type of thing. And over here on this side, I'm going to do the same thing, but we want to protect against heat because we have the exhaust system here. So you notice I'm way up high here. You know, I'm above it all. And then I drop down and in here to go to the fitting there. Okay, so it uses a shark bite fitting. But I had a problem getting that one in. Seems to be all right, but I had a problem sinking it in. It goes in about ½ inch and that locks. Same for the other side. There's no sealant or lube or anything like that. You just stick it in there, and they're like shark bite fittings and plumbing. And I have about 10 pounds of pressure in there now. They're looking good. And so the time between finishing installing to doing all the airlines is probably another 3 or 4 hours for yours truly. So, all told, doing this rather casually by an old man, crawling around on his creeper. Figure about 12 hours. Figure a couple of days, boys. So, hope you like the view. And I'm going to crank my tire up now. Incidentally, I took my tire down and I said, yeah, I better put some air in this thing. Guess how much air was in it? 4 pounds. That's right. So, if you haven't taken your tire down in a few days or a few years, or since you got your truck, it's probably a good idea to do it. Remember where the crank is, and put some air in the old spare. See you later, boys.